President Trump keeps calling Washington, D.C. crime-ridden and lawless, painting the nation's capital as some dystopian hellscape where congressional staffers dodge bullets between committee meetings. The reality? D.C. crime actually dropped 35% in 2024 to the lowest level in 30 years, with homicides falling from 39 per 100,000 to 27 per 100,000. Still high, but nowhere near the inflated numbers being thrown around on cable news. D.C. isn't uniformly dangerous or uniformly safe. It's a tale of two cities where Georgetown townhouses sell for $3 million, while neighborhoods 3 miles away struggle with violence and disinvestment. What makes D.C. fascinating is the political rhetoric about crime doesn't match the data, and the housing market tells a completely different story than politicians claim. While Trump tweets about lawlessness, city home prices fell 2.8% from 2020 to 2025, but not because of crime. The drop stems from condo oversupply and interest rate shifts, not residents fleeing violence. So let's cut through the political noise and look at actual data. We're ranking the 5 worst and 5 best neighborhoods in the DC metro area, then figuring out whether Trump's crime panic has any basis in reality or if it's just convenient campaign fodder that ignores what's actually happening on the ground. Columbia Heights slides into our 5th worst spot as the neighborhood that proves gentrification doesn't automatically equal safety. This Northwest DC community was among the city's first to see the craft cocktail bars and luxury condos arrive, yet it maintains one of the district's highest property crime rates, a spectacular achievement in cognitive dissonance. Walk through Columbia Heights, and you'll see the jarring contrast. A $600,000 condo building next to a bodega with security bars on the windows, farm-to-table restaurants sharing blocks with check-cashing stores that do more business than the overpriced organic grocer. The metro station brings convenient transit and also concentrates theft, robberies, and assaults in ways that make evening commutes feel like risk assessment exercises. The neighborhood attracts young professionals willing to trade some safety for lower rents than DuPont Circle. Homes here average $500,000 to $650,000 compared to $800,000 plus in fully gentrified areas. You get trendy restaurants and cultural diversity alongside elevated property crime that reminds you affordability often comes with trade-offs that real estate agents don't mention during tours. Schools remain mixed quality, with some highly rated charters and struggling neighborhood schools existing blocks apart. Columbia Heights represents DC's uncomfortable middle ground, expensive enough to price out longtime residents but not safe enough to fully shed its reputation. You're paying premium prices for a neighborhood that's still figuring out whether it's hip or dangerous, often delivering both simultaneously. Shaw claims the 4th worst spot as the neighborhood that turned Howard University's backyard into a nightlife destination with a crime problem it can't quite shake. Located just south of the historically black university, Shaw has gentrified rapidly with bars, clubs, and restaurants that draw crowds, and the robberies and assaults that follow them. The transformation here feels particularly aggressive. Historic row houses that once housed working-class black families now rent for $3,000, plus monthly to recent college grads who post Instagram stories from the same streets where violent crime still regularly occurs. Home prices average $550,000 to $700,000, reflecting the desirability of the location and the premium buyers pay for hoping gentrification eventually solves the safety issues. Shaw's nightlife drives much of the crime. Drunken altercations, street robberies targeting bar hoppers, and vehicle break-ins that happen while people are inside, spending $18 on cocktails. The neighborhood attracts people who want urban energy and walkable entertainment, then delivers those alongside crime statistics that make their parents question their life choices. Schools in Shaw vary dramatically, with some excellent charter options and traditional public schools that struggle. The community is transitioning rapidly, creating tension between longtime residents who remember safer times and newcomers who accept elevated crime as the price of living somewhere exciting. Shaw proves that hip doesn't automatically mean safe, and expensive doesn't guarantee your car won't get broken into while you're enjoying artisanal pizza. Trinidad and Brentwood take third worst as Northeast DC neighborhoods where affordability comes with crime rates that haven't gotten the gentrification memo yet. These areas near the H Street corridor and RFK Stadium maintain some of the district's highest rates for robberies, assaults, and gang-related violence despite proximity to improving areas. Housing here remains genuinely affordable by DC standards. Homes average $350,000 to $450,000, a steal compared to Northwest neighborhoods, but priced accordingly for the elevated risks. Trinidad specifically has seen rises in home invasions and gang activity that keep property values depressed, even as the city overall improves. Brentwood struggles similarly, with crime concentrated around certain blocks that real estate agents learn to route around during showings. Schools in these neighborhoods generally score low on district ratings, with limited access to the highly rated charter schools that serve wealthier areas. Public amenities lag behind other parts of the city: fewer well-maintained parks, limited retail options, and library branches with reduced hours. These are neighborhoods where city investment hasn't kept pace with population needs. The proximity to gentrifying H Street means some spillover improvements reach Trinidad and Brentwood, but not enough to fundamentally change the dynamic. You're buying into neighborhoods that might improve eventually, while currently dealing with crime rates that make living there feel like an affordable adventure with genuine risks attached. Perfect for people willing to bet on future gentrification while managing present-day safety concerns. Deanwood earns second worst as one of DC's most neglected neighborhoods, where low home prices, $250,000 to $350,000, reflect years of disinvestment and persistently high crime. Located in far northeast near the Maryland border, Deanwood suffers from violent crime rates, among the city's highest, limited services, and infrastructure that feels forgotten by municipal planning. This is a neighborhood where convenience stores have bulletproof glass, playgrounds need renovation, and residents organize their own safety patrols because official police presence feels insufficient. Schools here consistently rank among the district's lowest performing, with limited access to the charter school options that have transformed education in wealthier areas. The community has strong ties and determined residents, but they're fighting uphill against decades of systematic neglect. Deanwood's location near RFK Stadium should theoretically provide development opportunities, but plans for that area have stalled repeatedly, while other parts of the city boom. Public transit exists but feels inadequate. Bus service with long waits and limited evening hours that make car ownership essential despite the costs. Grocery store options remain limited, creating food desert conditions that wealthier neighborhoods never experience. The affordability here is real, making Deanwood accessible to working-class families and first-time buyers priced out of everywhere else in DC. But that affordability reflects genuine challenges that won't disappear just because someone bought a house there. You're investing in a community that needs serious municipal attention it's not currently receiving, hoping that citywide improvements eventually reach this corner of Northeast. Taking the worst spot, Anacostia and broader Southeast DC, Ward 7 to 8, represent the parts of Washington that political rhetoric about crime actually describes. Except these neighborhoods have been struggling for decades while politicians suddenly discovered them during campaign season. Crime rates here remain far above city averages despite recent improvements, with home prices are $200,000 to $300,000 reflecting the ongoing challenges. Southeast DC has long had some of the district's highest violent crime rates, with Anacostia specifically struggling with issues that include drug offenses, domestic violence, and robberies that keep many residents feeling unsafe in their own neighborhoods. Benning Ridge and nearby areas see crime surges that rarely make headlines unless they're convenient for political narratives, then get forgotten once the news cycle moves on. These neighborhoods remain dramatically underserved. Limited grocery options, healthcare facilities that are overextended, schools that struggle with resources, and public amenities that wealthier areas take for granted. The community has strong cultural history and determined residents who deserve better than they're getting. But systemic disinvestment doesn't reverse just because crime statistics improve citywide. What makes Southeast's situation particularly frustrating is how it gets weaponized politically without actually receiving the investment needed for real improvement. Trump references DC crime while proposing nothing for Anacostia, while local politicians celebrate falling citywide numbers that still leave Southeast residents dealing with violence rates multiple times higher than Georgetown. The affordable housing here comes with costs that go far beyond mortgage payments. It's buying into neighborhoods that have been systematically neglected while their struggles get exploited for political points. So yes, parts of DC are struggling, but that's not the whole story. Just across the river are neighborhoods that rank among the safest and most successful in America. Please hit subscribe, and let's flip the map and count down DC's 5 best places to live. Breaking into the best neighborhoods at number 5, upper Northwest DC areas like Georgetown, American University Park, Tenleytown, and Spring Valley proved that in DC, money really does buy security. These historic, wealthy neighborhoods feature brick townhouses, excellent public and charter schools, and violent crime rates so low they make the citywide statistics look misleading. Georgetown stands out with its picturesque streets, high-end shopping, and housing costs that start around $1 million and climb rapidly from there. The neighborhood combines walkability, metro access via bus, and the kind of safety that lets residents stroll home at midnight without checking over their shoulders. American University Park and Tenleytown similarly offer family-friendly environments with top-rated schools, abundant parks, and crime rates that suburban parents find acceptable. These neighborhoods contain everything that makes Washington desirable: proximity to power, cultural amenities, excellent restaurants, and the security that comes from generational wealth and effective community organization. Housing is expensive because demand is real. Families want these schools, professionals want these commutes, and everyone wants the safety that comes naturally when neighborhoods have resources and political influence. The trade-off involves costs that price out the vast majority of DC residents and a homogeneity that comes from economic sorting. You're buying into communities that are safe, well-maintained, and largely insulated from the struggles facing other parts of the city. Northwest DC represents what money can buy in the nation's capital and what everywhere else in the city is not. Vienna and nearby Great Falls take 4th best as Northern Virginia suburbs that combine safety, excellent schools, and genuine quality of life without requiring Georgetown-level wealth. Vienna earns consistent A grades for safety, features award-winning public schools, offers metro access, and maintains miles of bike trails that suggest municipal planning actually works sometimes. Homes in Vienna average $600,000 to $800,000, expensive by national standards, but relatively accessible compared to closer-in suburbs. Great Falls skews wealthier with larger lots, more exclusive developments, and prices that climb into the millions. But both areas deliver on their promises of suburban family life done right. Crime rates are very low, schools consistently rank among Virginia's best, and quality of life measures show residents are generally satisfied with their choices. The communities here feel genuinely active with engaged residents, well-maintained public spaces, and local governments that respond to constituent concerns. You're not just buying a house, you're buying into a system that actually functions, where taxes fund services that work and municipal planning produces results that make sense. The suburban vibe won't appeal to everyone, particularly people who want urban energy or walkable nightlife. Vienna and Great Falls deliver safety in schools at the cost of requiring cars for most activities and accepting a lifestyle that prioritizes family-friendly predictability over urban spontaneity. Perfect for people who want the DC metro area's job opportunities without the city's trade-offs, assuming you can afford the entry price. Bethesda and Chevy Chase claim third best as Montgomery County suburbs, where median home values around $1.1 million, roughly 4 times the national median, by safety, schools, and amenities that justify the staggering prices. These are among the wealthiest, most educated communities in America, and that wealth translates directly into exceptional quality of life. Crime rates here hover near zero, with Chevy Chase Village earning A+ safety scores, and residents reporting feeling secure at all hours. Public schools rank among the region's absolute best, with test scores and graduation rates that make other districts envious. Downtown Bethesda delivers urban amenities, restaurants, shopping, entertainment, without urban crime, creating a suburban experience that doesn't feel suburban. The affluence here is palpable: luxury cars, designer boutiques, organic markets, where produce costs more than entire grocery trips elsewhere. But that affluence also funds excellent public services, immaculate parks, and infrastructure that actually works. You're paying for membership in communities where wealth solves most problems before they become problems, where property values stay stable because demand will always exceed supply. The downside involves costs that exclude the vast majority of Americans and a demographic homogeneity that comes from economic gatekeeping. Bethesda and Chevy Chase offer exceptional quality of life for people who can afford the admission price, which is precisely what makes them inaccessible luxury rather than broadly attainable communities. You're buying into areas where money has created near-perfect suburban environments, and where everyone who can't afford million-dollar homes is explicitly excluded. Fairfax takes second best as both an independent city and surrounding county that deliver exceptional safety, top-tier schools, and quality of life that justifies its consistent best suburbs rankings. The small city of Fairfax boasts very low crime rates, highly rated public schools, walkable historic downtown, and metro access that connects to DC without requiring urban trade-offs. Broader Fairfax County encompasses communities like McLean, Oakton, and Centerville that consistently rank among America's safest large suburban areas. Crime rates stay well below national averages, public schools compete with the nation's best, and housing markets remain strong even during downturns. Homes typically range $550,000 to $900,000, depending on specific location, reflecting high demand for communities that actually deliver on suburban promises. Fairfax succeeds by combining resources with competent governance, high tax-base funding, excellent services, engaged communities supporting schools and infrastructure, and planning that creates genuinely livable environments. Parks are well-maintained, libraries stay open reasonable hours, and public safety feels like an actual priority rather than just campaign rhetoric. The lifestyle here skews family-oriented with excellent schools driving much of the demand. Single professionals might find Fairfax boring, but families prioritizing education and safety find it ideal. You're buying into communities where the suburban American dream largely works as advertised, assuming you can afford homes that cost significantly more than national medians, while delivering quality of life that justifies the premium. Taking the top spot, Arlington County proves that DC metro area suburbs can deliver urban sophistication and suburban safety simultaneously. This inner suburb consistently earns A+ safety ratings, offers top public schools, provides extensive metro access, and maintains crime rates well below national averages while delivering walkable urban density that most suburbs can't match. Arlington combines the best of multiple worlds. Rosslyn and Ballston offer high-rise urban living with metro stops and restaurant-filled streets, while neighborhoods in North Arlington provide single-family homes with yards and highly rated elementary schools. The county features ample parks, miles of trails, and public amenities that suggest the government can actually function competently when properly funded and managed. Safety here is exceptional. Residents report feeling secure walking home at night, Area Vibes gives A+ ratings, and county data shows crime rates that make Arlington one of the region's safest communities, This isn't an accident. It's the result of adequate police presence, engaged community organizations, and resources that prevent problems rather than just reacting to them. Housing costs reflect the quality. Expect $600,000 to $900,000 for condos and townhouses and $1 million plus for single-family homes in desirable neighborhoods. But you're buying into a community that delivers on its promises. Excellent schools without private school tuition, urban amenities without urban crime, and quality of life that makes the DC metro area desirable for people who can afford to choose where they live. Arlington wins because it proves that safe, sophisticated, family-friendly communities can exist near major cities when wealth, planning, and governance align properly. It's everything DC's struggling neighborhoods aren't, which makes it both aspirational and a reminder of how dramatically inequality shapes quality of life in the same metro area. So there you have it. From Anacastia's genuine struggles to Arlington's affluent safety, Washington, D.C. is dramatically unequal in ways that simple crime statistics can't capture. However, Trump claims D.C. is crime-riddled. The answer is no. Violent crime fell 35% in 2024 to 30-year lows, and homicide rates dropped from 39 to 27.3 per 100,000. Still high, but nowhere near the inflated numbers being quoted. The 41 per 100,000 figure Trump cited was outdated and inaccurate even when originally claimed, according to PolitiFact's fact-checking. Is DC's real estate market collapsing due to crime? Also number. City home prices fell 2.8% from 2020 to 2025, but that's driven by condo oversupply and interest rate changes, not crime fears. The broader metro area rose 37% in the same period, proving the region remains desirable while DC specifically deals with housing stock issues rather than crime-driven exodus. The truth is more complicated than political rhetoric allows. DC has genuinely dangerous neighborhoods that deserve investment and attention, affluent areas where crime barely exists, and a dramatic inequality that creates two completely different lived experiences within the same city boundaries. Using citywide crime statistics to make political points ignores that reality and does nothing to help neighborhoods that actually struggle. Before you buy into any narrative about DC, whether it's lawless hellscape or perfectly safe, look at actual neighborhood data, recent crime trends, and housing market analysis instead of political speeches. The reality is that DC is complicated, unequal, and improving in some ways, while still failing its most vulnerable neighborhoods. That's not as catchy as campaign slogans, but it's actually true. What do you think? Is political rhetoric about DC crime helpful or harmful? Should we judge cities by their worst neighborhoods or their best? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more data-driven reality checks about American cities.